So, let's see. The leadership skills questionnaire, completed it, and I found that I was high in administrative and high in interpersonal and moderate in conceptual. So with administrative, I can understand that. With the delegation of authority aspects and the unity of purpose aspects, I really like that one. And communication, obviously. And with the interpersonal, it didn't surprise me that they were kind of together. They were about the same because with the feedback and the team, and it's kind of less authoritative with the interpersonal. So I guess you could say at times I could be authoritative, and then at other times I could be less authoritative, if that makes sense. Um, Conceptual was just moderate because I do think it right now, if I had to be in a leadership and management position, that it would be difficult for me to look at the bigger picture because I'm so new. But that would definitely need some work. But I mean, it was okay that I was moderate in that. That didn't surprise me. Skills to secure needed resources, for example, staffing. I looked in chapter 7 of the textbook, and it talked about coordinating, which I think is very, very big, especially when you have either limited staffing or if you have a lot. It could go with either one. It's very important to coordinate and communicate. You can't wait till the last second. You can't assume that anybody knows anything. You can't solely go on word of mouth. There has to be some kind of control. That was another one, controlling. There has to be some sort of coordinated control system that people know what's going on in order to secure resources, or else it's all just going to blow up. How used published literature. The article that I chose was Interprofessional Practice in Education, Holistic Approaches to Complex Healthcare Challenges. I don't know if you can see that. How I would use it, it talks about values and ethics, respect, communication, caring, accountability. That's a big one. It talks about communication again, teams and teamwork, understanding group dynamics. Any sort of leadership position, and we've talked about this in previous discussions, you have to understand your group dynamics. You have to understand what you're going into. Shared problem solving and shared decision making, I think, is big. On one of the other questionnaires, I was actually more democratic, I believe, so that fits me to a T, so I understand that one completely. Identifying levels and departments that I would need to work with in order to be effective in my role. I actually got in touch with the chief nursing officer at my facility, and she sent me a lot of good resources. This was actually our organizational model. There's a lot to it, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but it covers a lot. So I would say, where's the other one? In order to be effective, there are two committees called, one's called Process Excellence, which is more for like employees, like how to make the process of the facility run smarter, run better for patient care, and for employee satisfaction. So I think that would be a good one because as a manager, I'm not only there for patient care. I mean, that's the most important part, but I am going to be over my staff. So their happiness and their fulfillment is important too. And the other one is called Quest for Excellence, which is more of the guest services aspect. That's where, were you happy with your care? Were your visitors happy? Was the lobby clean? Just things like that. Like any guest that walks into your facility, how did they feel? And this is actually, I don't know if you guys can see that, the collaborative model of care and professional model of care from my organization. and it talks about, you know, how it's very collaborative approach. Everyone has to work together. Even with separate departments, you still are all intertwined, and you come together and collaborate. And the really big on interprofessional, interdisciplinary, like we've talked about in the readings. They're very, very big on that, and I can actually attest to that being an employee. They are very, very big on that. They take care of us. They're great. Explain if you have a preference for vertical or horizontal structure in a particular model and why. I would say horizontal, only because in the book it talks about, in chapter 7 or 154, it talks about separate activities for more efficiency and effective performance, forming departments, and differentiation of labor, and it, you know, breaks down laboratory radiology, stuff like that. It gives the surgical example. Just because that's how my facility is run and that's what I'm used to, and it works for me, I would prefer that. And the interprofessional collaborative care model would probably be the one that I would pick, just because that's also what I'm used to. And I think collaboration is key, and it's very much needed. So I think that's very important. Talking to other people, seeing how they feel about it, I think is, you know, you have to be a leader, but you have to remember who's following you, and they are just as important. They're the ones that make you a leader. Like the video, you know, the first follower is the most important one. So that, you know, that actually make you a leader. So you have to take care of them and just remember while you're doing it. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. A lot of research, a lot of stuff that I didn't know about my own organization until I started researching stuff. So thank you. And any questions, just feel free to ask.